Yeah.
I'll never agree to let Dykema for us. I got literally this fucking 11 grand, 12 grand up. This and there's another one.
We'll figure that out. Charlie, that's our okay with that?
Oh, right. So you want it.
All right, I'd like to call to order the November 15th, 2017 meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority. At this point, I'd like to open up public comment. If there's anybody in the audience who'd like to come forward for public comment.
Is it like city council? Do I have to announce where I live or anything?
Yeah.
Oh, John Bonanchak, 5063 Elmhurst. A couple things. I wanted to come and just give this body a quick update on the Royal Oak Holiday Spectacular event, but prior to doing that, I thought I would say a couple words about Spooktacular. The event seemed to go over quite well. Attendees seemed to love it, and obviously the folks at Hershey's, Reese's really loved it since they were able to Reeseify the entire city of Royal Oak. So on behalf of myself and my partners in the event, we really are thankful to the city and to all the people who worked extremely hard in order to allow the Reesification of Royal Oak to happen. And just to give you guys an update, their goal from that event was, I believe it was 1.5 billion impressions after the event. And last I heard, they've already hit that goal, and they are beyond that goal. So it's just utterly amazing what they've been able to do with that event. So thank you. Again, I just want to give you guys a quick update on the Royal Oak Holiday Spectacular event. Despite my partners and I freaking out, I think it was a week and a half ago, I think we've pulled it together quite nicely. And you guys should expect to see everything that we proposed to this body originally. A couple changes. For space, we eliminated zip lining, but we are replacing it with a 40-foot Ferris wheel, which we think will even be a better attraction. It's most certainly a better family attraction, I think, and more people will get to experience it. So, as you guys may or may not know, we just got the event approved Monday evening from City Council. So beginning today, excuse me, and throughout the week, you'll see more and more advertising for the event. We were able to cut a pretty advantageous deal with C&G Publications, and they are on board as a sponsor. So over the next couple weeks, you'll see quite a bit of advertising throughout all of their publications. In addition, I believe there's more print planned in Metro Times, but most of the advertising that we'll be doing is going to be digital, and a lot of it is going to be done on Facebook. We have found at our other events that's our best and most cost-efficient way of reaching individuals. So while we're still big believers in traditional, advertising, posters, flyers, you'll see all that, but most of the activity and promotion will take place digitally. So we're excited about the event. We're working hard on the tremendous scavenger hunt with the Retailers Association. We feel that's going to be not only a big attraction for the Royal Oak Spooktacular event, but in talking to Gary, we've decided to expand that and run that scavenger hunt for the entire month of December. So folks don't have an opportunity to go on the scavenger hunt first weekend of December, they can still partake in that activity. So all in all, things are shaping up great. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anybody?
I do.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you know the answer to this yet, but the route for the carriage rides, I'm not 100% clear where that's gonna, is it, I know it goes around, it looks like it starts from behind,
O'Toole's back there?
back there, then goes around Center Street, onto Fourth, and then onto Main Street, and then back. Will you be using parking spaces for the lanes for the, I don't know how that,
That's to be determined. I mean, we'll probably try to operate that in the least obtrusive way to local businesses and motorists and pedestrians as possible. I don't remember the exact route. I think it was in the plan that we turned into the city. But it's definitely still gonna be an attraction at the event.
I think a huge attraction. When do you expect the streets to begin, when do you start setting up?
I believe the current plan, and forgive me if I don't know the exact date, but the streets will be closed on Thursday for setup. That might be Thursday morning, so it's probably right in there. So I imagine we'll start setting up Thursday morning with the anticipation of the event opening at 5 o'clock on Friday.
And you have all the ducks, your permits and everything that you need to get the tree up without any, I guess, without any snags or issues.
Well-
Everybody, DPS has been involved in the building department and all of that stuff.
Yes, we'll probably we'll go back through the building department one more time just to make sure that we've crossed our Ts and dotted our Is. But what we found out through the Reese's promotion is the tree itself is considered a decoration, and for decorations, you don't need permits. So there certainly isn't gonna be any issues with the trees. Beyond that, it's just a couple tent permits for the tent. So I don't think, it's unlike the Reese's deal. We're not asking the city to change or, look at ordinances, which they haven't looked at in a while, or break their own ordinance perhaps. So I think we're in good shape.
And one last question.
Yeah.
The 5th, they're aware of the projection on the building and,
I've called the 5th 3 million times. It seems every time I call, no one's ever around, but then they seem to call back the city. And so we haven't really had a great conversation with them personally, but I hope to accomplish that this week.
okay. If you need any help from me, I'm happy to.
Right.
John, I have a quick question, and maybe it's for you and Gary. Somebody mentioned this to me, and I hadn't thought about it. Is there a concern with our favorite thing, parking, for the event? It being, and I'm not sure how the decks are used on a typical Friday and Saturday night, but with this event, bringing in a lot of traffic, and I'm assuming that, I know the lots are pretty parked up normally on a Friday and Saturday night. Do we have a concern there? And is there, I hate to even think about it, but has there been any kind of thought about maybe setting up a shuttle from a lot or something like that? Is it going to be needed? I don't know.
We've looked at it internally. Really, if you look at the two heated structures of the tent, apart from the tree lighting, which would probably be the peak attendance time, at least that's what we're anticipating, you probably cannot fit more than 1,000 or 1,500 people at any given point. So unlike Ribfest, where we were taking a lot of the city's parking spots and producing an event on them, by using the streets, we're really not losing that many spots. How many spots are on Fifth Avenue that we're losing between Center and Washington? Is there maybe 16? And then same with, Washington.
I'm thinking more in terms of the crowd, but I think it sounds like you're seeing it more as a come and go type crowd, not.
Absolutely.
Not like a Arts Beats and Eats or a Rib Fest where people are hanging for hours.
Right.
Watching bands all night and stuff like that.
No, again, I think the tree lighting will definitely be the highlight of the weekend, and then I think, people will be coming in and out on a regular basis.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be spending hours upon hours there, and we're hopeful that they'll go shop rest of Royal Oak or get something to eat or drink at one of the downtown establishments as well.
And again, I'm not even sure on a typical Friday or Saturday night, for all I know, the 6th and Lafayette structure might have a lot of open space, whereas
It's typically full. The one North Lafayette is the one that usually has empty spaces.
but Fourth, north of Fourth.
I'm sorry, that's the one you're referring to, Fourth and Lafayette?
No, I was referring to Sixth and Lafayette.
Sixth and Lafayette usually gets full on Friday and Saturday.
Okay,
Yes.
so, but Fourth and Lafayette usually has space?
Usually has space. Also, there were some issues with Spooktacular parking, and I'm not sure if the structure was, the streets were closed off to where you couldn't get into it, or people couldn't figure out how to get into the Center Street structure, but it was, you couldn't use it. That's so people, the parking was up, almost way up to Catalpa.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I think that was a result of the construction going on Fifth Street, though,
Yeah.
between Washington and Main. So you couldn't
Fourth
get
Street.
east. Yeah, Fourth
Fourth
Street, you
Street.
couldn't get east of Washington on Fourth and therefore make that turn on Center to go into the garage.
Yeah, where they were building the, little hump. Okay.
Is there, I mean, we can direct Royal Oak Holiday Spectacular attendees to park in a certain city lot if there's one you'd prefer us to direct them to.
I don't know, I mean, it just sounds like if there is a parking issue, I mean, you know, we hate to have something like that, but it sounds like if it is, it's because the thing is an incredible success and more than we dreamed of, and next year, obviously, we won't have the issue because the structure will be ready, the second structure will be ready, so. And like, I mean, I was thinking even about the shuttle thing, even if we were to do a shuttle, I mean, where would you do it from? I mean, you know, you can't do it from, you can't guarantee doing it from our property, the 696
Right.
property, because what if it's, you know, snowing and muddy and wet, and then, so.
We did debate internally about encouraging folks to park at the Royal Oak Middle School, but we haven't cleared that with the city if that would even be an option.
I guess, so maybe if that would be like a safety valve thing, you know, I mean.
Right.
Maybe, and again, not to do your job, you guys do it very well, but maybe if there's a plan B, hey, the decks are full, what do we do? And if there is a plan B option, to direct people to go, you know, and then send the carriages out to pick them up. How's
There
that?
you go.
Well, it's a great point. During Ribfest, the city allowed us to use the space down by 696 in Maine
Right.
for vendors. Do you guys know if that's an option for us to at least allow our vendors to park down there over the course of the weekend to utilize that land?
I think the Etkin guys are using it now, right? I think they're staging some of the facade stuff.
Only during the week.
Yeah. I guess weather permitting.
We're beyond the zoo using it, aren't we?
Yeah, their agreement was up in the end of November.
Well, that certainly would help alleviate some of the congestion, considering we'll have 60 vendors and so many workers, so we can encourage all of them to park at the south, in the south, and I guess as overflow, unless there's some objections from this body, we could also encourage people to park at the Royal Oak Middle School, because as far as I know, that lot never really closes, right?
It's not really our lot to give permission to, though. It does belong
Right.
to the schools. And I guess the only thing I would ask, John, is if you could just be sure to give ample notice to all the businesses downtown as to when these streets are closing.
Right.
It's always been an issue in the past. There'll be a lot of businesses that won't be active in this event and won't be aware of it, so they won't understand why the roads are closed. So if you could just make sure, like, at least a week ahead of time so they can plan for it.
I personally, through Spooktacular, walked those 2 blocks and talked to every single business owner, not only about Spooktacular, but warned them that this was coming. So I don't think anyone will be surprised, but we'll definitely reach back out to them and let them know
Just
the
with
dates.
regard to the schedule.
Right.
And again, this is probably, again, I live at the Skylofts, and this is probably on our association board, but they nobody posted anything inside our building saying, hey, here's when, you know, the streets are gonna close and this, that, and the other. And it's very possible the board had the info and just didn't put it up, but it wasn't a big deal, but it was just something I noticed that's in the past, like with the Clay and Glass and Arts Beats and Eats and all that, everybody knows well in advance that it's gonna be closed,
Right.
so.
And I'm sorry, what building was that?
The Skylofts,
Okay, thank you.
yep, right at Fifth and Main.
Anybody else?
Just real quick, in terms of that, I would also suggest you reach out to the chamber, because the chamber usually does a pretty good job of notifying the businesses when there are street closures. So I'm sure they would be happy to do that.
Excellent.
So that would be a good source for you to do. And can you just remind me, we're talking about all of Fifth Street from Center to Washington, and we're talking about Washington from Fourth to Sixth?
Correct.
And that's it?
Yes,
Right.
with the traffic lane being open so that the folks who live at the Fifth can still access their building.
Correct.
So-
Okay. Okay.
But most activity will pretty much take place south of the Fifth's entrance or parking driveway, if you will.
Okay. And then, I guess my next question would be to that side of the table there, the tree lighting ceremony, that's obviously gonna make it to the city website? Not just the DDA website, but maybe the city website too?
Well, there's.
All of
some
them.
Yeah, all three of them.
I'm just, yeah,
Well, two of them are Thursday before, right? And this one is on Friday, so we've been referring to this one as the DDA tree lighting.
The two will be simultaneous, because we're gonna be lighting two trees over here this year. The spruce that we've always lit. Also, the tree that's in the courtyard in front of the district court building is gonna be decorated and lit at the same time. This will be the last year for the spruce tree, because the spruce tree is diseased, and we expect we're probably gonna be taking it down January, February. Question for you, since we're talking about the tree lighting, and the tree lighting is a big part of this event, do we have the tree? Is it here yet?
The tree is certainly en route. We know that. I don't know that it's in the United States yet, but that has not been my department, but we're confident the tree will be here. AV7, who is erecting the tree, wanted it to get it in about a week earlier so they could practice. So I don't know that they're going to be afforded that opportunity to practice erecting the tree, but they're seasoned professionals, and we feel very confident that in their abilities to erect the tree. There's one other concern, and I think there's a piece of artwork on Washington that I think we need to request the city move that artwork, because I think it's exactly where the tree is going, right in front of the Stagecrafters sign, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yep, there would be a piece there.
Yes. So,
We also need the contract with AVS signed.
okay, they haven't signed it? I'll get on that.
No, I think there was an adjustment to it, but I haven't seen it.
I'll go back and look at that email thread.
Just make sure we got the, we'll coordinate it, but
Right.
I don't have it yet.
For sake of conversation, do you know who we contacted the city to request that the artwork that's currently on Washington be moved?
You've already done it.
Yeah, very good.
Anybody else? Mike's suggestion of contacting the chamber is great, because you got 2 Monday morning memos that are gonna go out before your event, our event. So that's a great idea. That gets a lot of people, so. Anybody else?
Excellent.
Thanks, John. You
Perfect. No, thank you, guys.
feel better about it, go. All right. Any more public comment? Anybody? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Move on to number 3, approval of the meeting minutes from October 18th, 2017. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Director Riley. I'll second. Second by Director Sophia. Do you have any comment?
Well, my name is spelled wrong.
Your name is spelled wrong.
I have
Well, then
one
I,
L in my
then I
name.
I
Oh,
withdraw
my
my
goodness.
motion.
Amend the motion to approve. That
That's
correct?
corrected. We'll adjust it.
All right. Anything else? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We got monthly expenses on number 4A, for informational purposes. Anybody with any questions for Mr. Twing on this? Seeing none, I'll move on to 4B, There will be action required on that.
Yeah, you've got the original invoice that was posted for $6,888 or $80.70. I also distributed a second invoice from Dykema that we received this week for $4,915.60. If you're inclined to approve one or both of those, I do need a motion to have you approve them.
Mr. Jesbeck, do you have any comments on this?
No comments, sir.
Okay. All right.
I guess I do have one question for Tim. Where, will we be requiring additional services here, or we still have to deal with the,
Well, this work's related to the agreement between the city and the DDA for the Civic Center financing agreement. That agreement is not done, so yes, there will be
so there
additional.
will be, that's what I was asking, whether we were gonna have to review the, that agreement, okay.
Okay.
We need a motion to, I'll move to approve the,
Approve both invoices?
yeah, approve both invoices.
So I got a motion by Director Krieger to approve both invoices. Do I have a second? Second by Director Baglio. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 5, reimbursement agreement, 600 South Main Street, Burton, Katzman.
The agreement that's included in your packet was reviewed by the Business Marketing Committee. They are in support of, or recommending approval of that reimbursement agreement. What I would also point out is probably 3 other items in relation to that. Burton Katzman is asking that you consider under paragraph 2, where we've eliminated that the DDA would be restricted to 30 days to decide that the reimbursement conditions have been met to the satisfaction of the DDA. They would ask that you consider indicating that at 60 days. Where I see that being relevant is simply the first time they submit for reimbursement, they will be required to submit all the costs that they've paid for the public improvements. You'll be able to see those and concur with the total dollar amount in regard to that project. So your review of that is what that's referencing. Once you've blessed it as a board, the total dollar amount, so that you know what you're reimbursing to, subsequent years, it will really be an administrative function, because once you bless the dollar amount, the only thing that will occur in future years is that I'll look at that they paid their summer and winter taxes, what was actually captured, and then reimburse based on that 80% to them. There won't be any necessary action after the first year. So if you want to insert 60 days in there in terms of replying to them, either that what they've submitted is satisfactory or identifying what they've submitted is not satisfactory, I think that gives you sufficient time to reply. So if that would be one change that they're asking for. Then you also should have received an email with some input from Brandy Matthey as your legal counsel on the reimbursement agreement. I did hand out one section that she was looking to have corrected at this point in regards to making clear what the general public is under who would be able to buy monthly passes. So if you wanted to add that revision to that one paragraph, you could approve this with that amendment as well. One last point I would bring up is under the recitals, there is a reference to dates and commission meetings for the city commission to approve a development agreement. Until the city commission does that, so that those dates can be inserted, I wouldn't plan on executing this. So it would be subject to the city commission taking that action, approving a development agreement, and then those two dates would be inserted in here, and then we'd execute it. So that's the only update I have on it. Other than that, I believe the Business Marketing Committee is recommending your approval, and there is a suggested resolution there that indicates that subject to any final revisions by legal counsel. If you want to add those items I just referenced, I'd do it as amended with those. I don't know if, Larry, you got any comments? Larry Goss is here from Burton Katzman.
Hi, everybody. Larry Goss from Burton Katzman. Thank you again for this on your agenda, and I wanted to thank the subcommittee in particular for helping to have that last special meeting with the MEDC. I think it was very productive, and particularly I want to personally thank you, and on behalf of our company, for revisiting the time of the 10-year tax increment reimbursement. I think that's going to be very well received by the MEDC. At least that was what we heard there, and hopefully that will make them feel a little more generous as well. That's the idea. So I just wanted to thank you for reaching a little bit further out to try to put this together. It's really appreciated. Yes, the only reason we had asked for that some sort of time frame on that paragraph 2 clause was just not to leave it open-ended, that there would be no time set at all for the DDA to respond to us. That was just kind of make sure we close that loop, and I don't think that seems like a reasonable approach to give you 60 days to look at it. The only other thing that was kind of interesting from our perspective, happy to accept it as is, but I guess I got a little educated that your monthly permit system is a little unusual in the sense that it doesn't allow us to guarantee parking spaces to anyone, which I wasn't really aware of that, and I guess I understand that's how your monthly passes work, that although it's a pass, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a space, which is kind of an odd pass, I suppose. But we'd like to be able to set aside passes for the, spaces for the people that pay for the monthly passes, but if that's the way the city operates, then I guess we'll abide by that. But it does seem a little odd.
No, hopefully you got a lot of bakeries and farmers moving in your building.
So also happy to answer any other questions you might have, but appreciate all the hard work on this.
Riley?
Yeah, just to bring the rest of the board up to speed. We've met with Larry and his gang, I don't know, 6, 7 times? A bunch of times. And they've been a great partner in this. They really have been. And it's a little unusual. We're recommending something here that we've never done before, which is stepping outside of a 10-year TIF reimbursement program. And I just want to explain some of the reasons for it. First of all, their original plan had, as I recall, it was around, I can't remember the total number of spots, but we went at them pretty hard on the 155 existing spots and asking them to not only build the extra spots in the deck, but guarantee that they are available to the public 24/7. And they went back and they crunched the numbers, and they came back and said they would do it. On top of that, we have the issue of timing with regard to the Royal City Center project and that garage, and nobody having the appetite to tear up everything in town and have all parking lots torn up and nowhere to park. And so basically we went to them, and I think the city commission as well, and felt that, we didn't want anything breaking ground there until the structure over here was done. in doing all this, obviously we added cost to them in building the deck, and just keep in mind, so with the deck, with the parking deck, the way they're gonna build it now, it's 428 spots. 155 of those will be committed to public 24/7, just like the structure is now. After hours and weekends, currently we have 155 spots, there's 428. So advantage us there. I mean, they own the deck and they'll operate the deck as it should be. Basically what happened was that there was a bit of a financing gap, and the MEDC wanted to see, as they normally would what the city was going to do. So we asked for a meeting with all parties, with the MEDC and Burton Katzman, and they obliged, and it was not only a productive meeting, but it was an educational meeting for us, and I think we gained a lot out of it. And basically there were 3 areas that they could close the gap that they had, and one would be the DDA doing something a little further. The other would be the city with regard to the price of the land, which is still in the city's ball court now. And then the other, of course, being the MEDC. And we just felt that it was not only just a show of good faith, but they had done everything that we had asked up to this point. And it's a nice project. It's a really nice project the way it is now. And we felt that it called for something that we've never done before. And again, we didn't want to set precedent by it, but I guess, and I'll speak for myself, I won't speak for the rest of the committee, but anybody else who comes down the pike that wants to present a project that's as attractive as this and viable as this and offers the kind of parking that this offers and protects the public parking, I personally would consider 12 years extension. So that being said, oh, and then the last thing on the permits sold for the public spaces, I think that's what we added was a provision to allow them to sell 50 permits to the public portion of it. In other words, if your employees or if another business wanted to buy permits in the lot, that they'd be available to do so. As for the 2 addendums on here, Tim, if I can speak to those. Number 1, the 60 days to submit the costs of improvement. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem at all with that. And the second one being the change in the wording in portion B here that Brandy suggested. This is just, it's the red, for the sake of clarity, adding that. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with all of that. So, anyway, that's an update on how we got here and why we're doing something, they're recommending something that we've never done before, which is adding the additional 2 years.
All right.
Just a quick typo. In this section I, the last sentence, of those repeated twice, are not the employees of the
yeah.
tenants.
Baglio. Does this resolution cover these 2 things?
No, I would, if you wanted to adopt a resolution that's in the letter, I would add a provision right after approving the reimbursement agreement with the two amendments, and then I'd subject any final revisions by the city attorney.
Yeah, that's one thing, just so the rest of the board understands. This is, this is just an agreement between us and Burton Katzman, and the city is gonna have, the final say on the development agreement and the project and all of that.
So,
Question?
sure.
So Tim, then, no language is needed in this resolution. It's just assumed that this agreement is contingent upon city approval and a signed development agreement between the developer and the city.
Well, yeah, I don't believe you need to add anything to the resolution. The blanks that are left blank cannot be filled in until the city commission acts. and you can't execute an agreement with blanks in it, so,
Okay.
won't execute it until after the city commission does approve a development agreement.
Okay, so you don't
I don't need anything in
need
that
any
regard.
additional
I just-
language to that, okay.
No, alls I would say is if you wanted to add the amendments, you should
Okay.
add that to it.
I will move the resolution with the three amendments discussed, that we have before us.
Okay, the 60 days as opposed to 30, the public spaces and the recitals.
Yeah, there's
It's just only two,
amendments.
yeah, it's only
Oh,
two.
I thought there was three, okay, I'm sorry,
Well, of the,
okay.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second? A second by Director Yazbek.
I think just to make everybody clear and to make the public clear and everything else is to reiterate what Director Riley said here. This is just the DDH portion of this project, and it's a simple reimbursement agreement for incoming tax revenue, which we will reimburse some to the developer, and we will keep some. And it's what we've done in the past. It's similar to what we've done with other projects recently. But that's just our portion of it, and the city needs to decide if they want to move forward with this project, and enter into a development agreement. So, that being said,
Okay, anybody else have anything? So, Mr. Goss, I want to thank you and John. Every meeting, we had a lot of meetings, and I will say that every meeting I found was productive, and every ensuing meeting, it just got better and better, so.
Thank you for your collaboration.
Yeah, okay.
Challenging Rubik's Cube, and
Yes.
we made big steps, so hopefully get it over the goal.
absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll see. So right now, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay. Number 6, Small Business Saturday, free parking in the decks. I don't know who wants to, I guess I should take it, huh? Well, maybe, why don't you take it?
I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
This notion came up at a meeting that we had about Small Business Saturday, about things that we could do to make accessing the downtown easier, more convenient, and more attractive. So I've reported before that one of the primary challenges that I keep hearing from residents and business owners and customers is the parking issue. And although I believe in many cases it's a parking perception issue in a lot of situations, I think that this would definitely be a step towards addressing that issue by allowing free parking in the decks all day until 7 p.m. on Small Business Saturday. So I think it would definitely be a promotional item that we could do to also attract more shoppers downtown to visit a lot of the retail shops. And in the attached email to this memo, it was calculated that it would be a little less than $2,500 to pay for that duration of time to allow free parking in the decks. So I included a suggested motion of expending $2,500, or a budget, I suppose, not to exceed $2,500 to the city's parking system in order to offer free parking in the 3 existing downtown city parking decks on Small Business Saturday from 6 a.m., which is about the time that the parking attendants arrive, until 7 p.m. And I'll add that if somebody comes in and parks at 6:45 p.m. And they leave at 8 p.m., it's still technically free because they calculate it from when that person arrives, so.
Any questions? Sean? Yes.
You need a motion to authorize the $2,500.
I'm like trying to get motions out of you guys today.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna move the suggested motion to include the word not to exceed $2,500. But the motion as it states is fine, for purposes of discussion.
Okay, I have a motion by Director Safaya,
I'll support.
a second by Director Johnson. Any discussion or questions? Director
Just a
Safaya.
couple things. One, I think this is a great idea. I want to thank our chairman for bringing this to the table. You know, it was something that was near and dear to him, and he wanted to see if we can get it accomplished. I also want to thank City Manager Johnson for making this happen also. I know that he put some work into it, so I believe this is part of the DDA's charge. I think this is a program that we should be developing and participating in. And I think it's gonna be great. I think our task right now is just to figure out as many possible ways that we can to let people know that this is what we're offering, you know. And if we can do that, I definitely think people will take advantage of it, so.
Is there a way, and Gary, you might know, is there a way that we can try and gauge this to see how successful it is based on sales, things like, there's that saying, nothing measured improves. I want to see what it does if we are offering free parking.
Well, I think we have our barometer. Sean, our downtown manager, I think, once the event's over, I think, he travels to downtown and talks with the businesses.
See what people think of it, see if there's.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of going out this Saturday to kind of take some snapshots of foot traffic and, count some cars and empty parking spaces, and then comparing that with the following weekend on Small Business Saturday to see if there is a change. So that would help me at least kind of measure a little bit. It wouldn't be precise, only because it is Small Business Saturday and a lot of people would have ordinarily come down here, I think, even without the promotion of the parking. So it's difficult to kind of isolate that variable, but I think we can probably get a rough estimate to see if it's successful in doing a job.
Sales.
Yeah, but-
Sales info.
Small Business Saturday is typically a good day, however, it can always be better. And if it is better, we're gonna know that this worked. You'll definitely hear it from the retailers that are participating. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of buzz out there, a
Well,
lot of enthusiasm of
good.
what's
That's
happening
good.
this year, so.
And I just think, Sean, what you've done, I mean, it's just like a multifaceted approach. I mean, between the giveaways, the ornaments, the stuff you're doing next week with the walk around, and this is just a cherry on top of the sundae here. And guess what? Free parking. I mean, which really, that's, the old story. And well, Gary, you're the retail, Lori's not here, but you put free up there, and especially parking when you're associated with Royal Oak, and that's, that gets the eyes. And I just think that the whole approach, I mean, I think it's very tough to single out one aspect of it and say, well, that's the reason why, that's the reason why. It's like, it's the old story. If we can get 5, 10%, 15% out of everything, pretty soon we got something.
Yeah, my intention was to kind of go with that multifaceted approach so that we could kind of approach a critical mass, But
Sure.
at the same time, it's really hard to tease out any one variable to see if that's the one that's doing the trick or if it's a combination of the three or whatever.
And also, the thing that I really like about the free parking is that in future years, I mean, the hope obviously is that this really catches on and this becomes like a big deal, Small Business Saturday in Royal Oak, and everybody knows that, oh yeah, and it's free parking on top of it.
Director Johnson.
It's free parking in the decks.
Right. No,
The
absolutely.
street, not in surface lots.
Absolutely. All right.
Tickets everywhere.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we can make that real clear.
Parking, you're gonna give people the idea that it's free anywhere.
No, we would, and we all know what would happen if we did that. I mean, that goes without saying. Free parking in the decks.
Okay.
We are always in the pursuit at this table of the wow factor, and it's a great concept, and I think the free parking, throwing it out there, is the wow
decks.
factor. In the decks, and creating an event and that people will look forward to, and it will be very successful.
Okay. Anything else? So we do have a motion on the table to approve this. I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right. On to number 7, committee updates. The Consumer Marketing Committee. I know we didn't meet, but there's still a little bit going on.
Yeah, I think we talked about, we lightly touched on Spooktacular.
Right.
I think we knocked it out of the park.
Sounds good.
With that. There was a couple of glitches that didn't happen due to last minute changes, but overall, even with kind of not so great weather, I think we really knocked it out of the park this year. There's the communication that there's trick or treating on Washington doesn't seem to get out as well as we needed to, but we can fix that next year. I was very pleased with it. I don't know if you have any feedback, but I thought that went really well.
I thought it was well done.
I personally walked around for probably 2.5, 3 hours, and I thought it was fantastic. And the crowd and the weather, I mean, the weather was so-so, but there was one point where I was standing in the middle of Main between 3rd and 4th, and the line, like waiting to go through the different restaurants down Main Street from 3rd and 4th was all the way back to where the billboard was set up in the between 2nd and 3rd, and there was nobody handing out candy between there and there. And the last time I saw it lined up like that, I believe it was, I can't remember if it was 2 years ago, where it was like the weather was incredible. It was like sunny and 65, and you couldn't walk on the sidewalks because it was that crowded. And the lines were there, and people were on the sidewalks, but the street was crowded too. I mean, so I don't know if we got a number count on it, but I thought it was really, really, really well done.
The buskers added a nice element to it too, with kids getting their pictures taken with the different buskers and stuff like that. That was really top notch.
I thought it was really well done, and like I know, like out in front of our place, the DJ was there, and from my window once when I was inside, I'd look outside, and he was really interactive with the kids walking by, and it was pretty. Although the only thing is that his track keep going over and over, but there's only so many Halloween like rock songs that you have. But if I was hearing Thriller in my sleep, but no, but no, I thought. All in all, I thought it was very well done, and I was interested to hear how I saw you when I walked over to Washington the one time I walked over there, and it wasn't as crowded, but it was more crowded than I had seen Washington ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. In terms of the spectacular coming up in a couple of weeks, we just got to put our heads, get our heads going and get marketing out there, and we're having a meeting on Monday with the retailers to get all the Facebook art out there and do a big push that way. Hopefully it'll do what we need it to do.
Sure it will. All right. Let's go on to B. The Infrastructure Committee did not have a meeting,
Did not have a meeting, and I don't have a report for us.
but there's some things going on with infrastructure too. Those Christmas lights.
Those Christmas lights. Sometimes we like talking about them, sometimes we don't.
I think
But,
we all like it today.
yeah.
Yeah, today is a good day. They do look nice. I don't, they're
They're
they are very, very nice.
they're spectacular, and again, I'll say from my condo, I just happened to walk outside like last night. I didn't even realize that they were turned on. I looked over the edge, and I can see straight down Main Street, and it is spectacular. I mean, it is that you talk about the wow factor, and I didn't even realize like that everything wasn't even totally set up, like all the sprays weren't up yet or anything like that. I didn't realize that till today when I saw the guys setting them up. But when you look down the street, it's pretty spectacular, and the call on adding the different colored wrap lights is phenomenal, and the way some of them twinkle and some don't, it really sets it off.
They should all twinkle.
No, not on the wraps, on the tree wraps. I don't think, no. I don't think every strand was supposed to twinkle, because then it would just be like too busy. I seem to remember we talked about that.
Pretty sure they all twinkle. It's like every fifth light is a twinkle light.
Okay, maybe that's what, all right, well, that's fine. All right, that's fine.
Yeah,
Well, then all the lights don't twinkle.
Right.
Well, that's what I said.
Okay.
Okay, so I had it the wrong way.
Boy, it wasn't one way to go. It was gonna be a good Christmas light. All right, should we go on to D? No, the lights look great.
They
The
do.
lights look great.
Couple, and I'm not sure, they're probably not finished, but I noticed that the globes on Main Street are not color changing yet. The ones on Washington are.
Yeah.
This morning, the ones on Main Street were color changing, at least closer to Lincoln.
Okay, because I'm looking out right now and that one's not. But Judy brought
Closer
this.
to Lincoln, they
Okay.
were.
And also, are they gonna be put on a timer to get shut off during the day, or are they just gonna stay on
Yes.
all day?
I believe so.
Yes,
I can check.
they'll be on a timer. Just to add to that, Joseph Murphy and I walked around with English Gardens yesterday at 6 in the morning, and we walked down past all of the lights to examine them, make sure they're all working, and they said that they were gonna get them on a timer, but I think for the next week, they were just gonna let them burn, so.
All the lights will be on a timer or just the balls?
They said all the lights would be on a timer.
Oh, okay. Is that new? We had,
Well, there was some question last year, because they're plugged into the decorative lamp posts.
right,
And those weren't always on a timer,
okay,
so,
cool.
rather than having them burn out quicker.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get another year or two out of them.
Because I don't come in that way, I wanted to ask you, Chairman, are any of the trees down on the beautiful new islands that we put in there, are they mature enough to hang any lights on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not even sure. Is there electrical service out on those islands?
Probably not.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I just thought that might be nice. Because those islands are really nice. I mean, those came out really good.
Right, they did.
Trying to think if we had any extra lights laying around, we could do those, but I didn't know if the trees were even mature enough.
I have a quick question. Now, this isn't, I don't think it's for the infrastructure committee, but it's within the realm. It's in the downtown area. The construction that was done at Fourth and, Fourth Street between Center and Washington, adding the island thing, is that because of the train? Is that so they don't blow their horns, or what is that for?
Well,
Well, it was because the left turn that's prohibited there.
Into that alley.
Center Street, into what is the alley. The trucks and things kept turning left there and taking out the railroad crossing.
Okay,
So it's to prohibit left turns in there.
darn it. I was kind of hoping that,
Well, the infrastructure committee is gonna have two discussions as to what you wanna put in there in terms of landscaping, and then you also have, on North Main, there's two islands that are gonna go in when they rebuild, North Main, and what you wanna put in those.
two islands. Oh, I don't know. I was just kind of hoping that was the start of. There's the thing where if you put in the thing, the railroad, the trains don't have to blow their horns.
No,
It's okay.
the quiet zone is not happening.
As the Blues Brothers said, the trains go by so often you don't even notice it.
and I believe CN actually paid for that, correct? So,
Okay.
so they actually paid for that, but they
I
would,
just wanna-
in order for that to happen, they would need to pay for it all through
Oh,
this,
I know.
so, anyhow, let's not get into that one.
We're used to it after 12 years.
Okay, Business Marketing Committee, C. Oh, boy.
You heard it all.
Yeah.
You've been living it.
Yeah, we had two meetings, I didn't even remember that, but, yeah, basically, you got the gist of it with the Burton Katzman stuff, and we've been through some stuff with the, city center project, which we're still working on, and, I think that's it. What else? Let me just check real fast, got a couple agendas here. Yeah, I think that's it, so, any other questions?
It's not, okay. With that, we'll move to D, the Parking Subcommittee had a meeting. Director Sophia, or Director Johnson even, if either of you would like to. I was there too.
Well, very, very briefly, last month, the DDA received a request to consider increase in the parking rates in your role as the city's parking committee in the downtown. That discussion was referred to the parking subcommittee. That committee did meet, as I indicated, on October 26th. There was some additional information that was still being processed. coming out of that meeting. That hasn't been resolved, so I'm anticipating that there will be some recommendation or follow-up that would be at your December DDA meeting. It may require another subcommittee meeting, but we'll wait and see how that flushes out.
So, Tim, just like for clarity, if there are recommended changes, does it have to come before this body and then go before the commission?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
that's the plan.
I have a quick question on parking. I think I know the answer, but I just want to make sure. At the current Second Street deck right now, recently it's gone to cash only. And my question is that just temporary, and is it because of the construction? I mean, maybe the connectivity's not there, whether the,
Right. No,
Okay.
No, it's just a temporary activity.
okay, and so once everything's all done, and then the two garages are integrated, they'll be accepting credit cards and we will, and the countdown clock will be set and all of that, everything will be hunky-dory there. The deck, and I haven't checked recently, the deck at 6th and Lafayette, is that still cash only? I mean, I know there was an issue there with some kind of wiring at some point.
No, it's correct credit card now.
It's credit card. Okay, so come the first of the year, everything, all the countdown clocks will work and everybody will be taking credit cards. Is that correct? Okay.
Anybody else? All right, on to number 8. Sean.
Let's see. I have a few things I mostly want to kind of go over. The majority of it has to do with Small Business Saturday. That's the chief thing that I've been working on lately. As you may know, Small Business Saturday is November 25th. Just a brief update on what's been happening between the writing of this report and today is I've been working with the Michigan Retailers Association and the SBA. So the Tuesday, November 21st, preceding Small Business Saturday, we're going to host a tour of 4 small businesses who have worked with public sector economic development programs in the past. So I'm going mostly off of a list that was provided to me by the SBA, but fortunately they're all fairly close to each other. This tour, we're going to have a representative from Sandra Levin's office. I've reached out to the mayor. He unfortunately can't make it. You may have seen an email that I sent to all of you inviting you on this tour as well. It's going to be in the morning. And I can circulate a brief itinerary for it again. But we're basically going to talk to the business owners, learn more about their businesses and the assistance that they received in starting their business. At the request of the Economic Development Director, I've added Motor City Gas, because I know he has worked pretty extensively with the county to get his business up and running as well. So on to Saturday, November 25th. You may have seen the ornaments have arrived. I have an example to bring along with me. This is what they look like. So I also have 1,000 bags that arrived yesterday. So every bag will have an ornament in it. We have 30 retailers participating so far. I'm having the print shop downstairs print up these maps, which will be circulated as well, so everybody will know which business to go to get a bag and an ornament. If you make a purchase of $25 or more, that's how you get one of the bags. In terms of donations from the other businesses, including restaurants, I have about a list of 30 businesses that have agreed to donate so far, and the donations that have come in, I kind of tallied it up this morning going through everything, and it's valued at about $20,000 worth of gift cards, coupons, various other things as well that'll be distributed in these bags. And then on Monday, we're going to be talking at 5:15 with a number of the business owners participating just to go over some final details and how we can integrate our retail passport program into the event too. So I wanted to coordinate with Matt and John as well because they're doing a scavenger hunt with a lot of these businesses. So I think the businesses that are already participating in Small Business Saturday, they may be likely to get in on this as well. And since their scavenger hunt kind of overlaps in terms of the activity as his passport, maybe we can find some way to coordinate those two things so it's much simpler rather than having a long list of programs that are similar. throughout the holiday season. Other than that, I think everything else is contained within my report. Any questions so far? Or?
Real quick question on the passport program. 'Cause I've read through it a couple times and I'm still confused on it. So if the passport will contain a list of retailers who are participating for Small Business Saturday or just for the passport program in general?
It's going to be the list of the same businesses that have agreed to carry the bags.
Okay.
So it'll be the same list.
And you get it stamped when you make a purchase at any of the places?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're still working on the detail of whether or not it'll be a stamp or a sticker, or if they just sign off,
Sure.
and staple the receipt. But yeah, functionally, it's stamped.
You're not gonna have some immigration officer there with a little hat
you go.
eyeballing you up and down, and get that punch stamp. And then they get to the end of the calendar year, so throughout the year and to be eligible for the prizes, they have to complete it. In other words, they have to buy from each and every store. Is that correct? Or just anybody who has any stamp at all?
So we were gonna work that out on Monday as like a final work through in terms of that detail. You'll get the passport with the instructions in the bag, so that's how we're gonna introduce it to people.
Okay.
And what we're gonna work out is whether or not you have to go through the entire list, or you only have to go through like maybe 10.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk to see what's the most feasible and what would be the most likely for somebody to engage with, so.
Seeing as how they're gonna have, what, about a month or a month to complete it?
Yeah, the whole, basically, the philosophy behind everything that I'm putting in the bags in terms of the gift cards and the passports is to have everybody come out on Small Business Saturday, but give them enough things to encourage them to make
Come back.
repeat visits.
Gotcha.
And introduce new faces to new stores, and then try to get them to be a repeat customer to a lot of these places over the holiday season. So hopefully it'll change their purchasing habits over a period of time.
That's a good idea. I really like it.
Okay, anything else for Sean? Does anybody have anything else? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
See, now, all day long, no one makes a motion. But when it comes time to adjourn, boom, like that. Okay, so I got a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Boom, no, boy, real quick, seconded by Don Johnson. We won't even discuss this, will we?
No.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're out.
Sean, how'd it go today?